Good day, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am Folahun Oyelekun. Today I am discussing Second Class Citizen written by Buchi Emecheta, Chapter 12, The Collapse. Ada is determined to change her life pattern when she discovered that she is pregnant again. She resolved to terminate the pregnancy. She visits an experienced Indian doctor who is very popular with blacks in Kentish Town to discuss her plight with him. The doctor sympathizes with her and says that she would have come to them for the cap in the first instance, and that those in the clinics are cheap and inferior. But how was Ada to know that the doctor could render such a service? The doctor gives her some white pills and tells her that they will work for her. Ada is confused about what the pills will do for her, but cannot ask questions. She now thinks in her mind that if the pill is going to terminate pregnancy, there is no need to tell Francis about it. She believes that telling him may lead to the spread of the news. Ada has been experiencing a lot of challenges right from a tender age in her education. She hoped to find succor in her marriage, in which she gambled. She is so unlucky because she is facing a new one now. Ada always prays to God to pull her out of the problems and the challenges of life. Though she doesn't go to church and pray, since the churches in England are not like the ones in Nigeria that always have great attendance to the extent that one could hardly get a seat in the church if somebody comes late. Ada prays anywhere she is, whether at home or at her working place. With the great distance between Ada and Francis now, which is caused by her stay in the hospital and made deeper by the cap issue, Ada now finds succor in her new job at the Chalk Farm Library. She meets Peggy, a 23-year-old Irish girl who is a library assistant. Peggy falls in love. Peggy gloves into the hand of an Italian boyfriend who broke her heart after giving the boy so much that she is now regretting. There is also the case of Mr. Barkin, whose daughter was disappointed by her husband, which resulted in illness in the daughter. Bill is another co-Liberian, a Canadian, who looks down on anything British but likes blacks, especially black writers. Ada gets a lot of inspiration from him and knows about some black writers like James Baldwin through him. She finds a good friend in Bill, whose wife is expecting a second child in their second year of marriage. Ada even thinks of leaving Francis with her children. The people in the library make her forget her trouble as they all share their problems together. Ada pretends as if she doesn't have any problem, and they all believe so. After 3 months, Ada realizes that the pills given to her by the doctor have not worked. She then decides to confirm the truth from the doctor before looking for a room for herself and the children, since Panobo has given them a quit notice due to their incessant fights in the house. The women in the house write an open letter to Ada to control her husband. This is revealed to other library assistants where Ada works. The doctor at the surgery revealed to Ada that the pills given to her were not for abortion. She is greatly annoyed on hearing this but tries to control herself. She then tells the doctor that the pills were for abortion and that she felt it the first few weeks she took the pills. She threatens the doctor that he will be held responsible if anything happens to her child, and she walks out of the surgery. Ada does not go home but sits at a park near Gospel Oak Village, where different thoughts cross her mind. She thinks about her children, including the unborn one. Suppose the child is born with deformities because of the pills. What is she going to do? She also thinks of Boy, her brother who has sent money to her to leave Francis and the children in London and come back to Nigeria. She also thinks of what Francis' family will say about the unborn child when born, that the child is not for Francis, probably a white child. She is also grateful that her parents are dead, that the shame will have killed them. Ada is deep in thought when an Igbo man named Opara touches her shoulder and asks whether she fought her husband. Opara tells her that she doesn't want to hear anything and that they should go and beg Francis. The man is able to identify Ada as an Igbo because of the marks on her face. The belief of the Igbos is that men cannot be wrong. It is only the women, and they have to beg for forgiveness, no matter the situation. They are like obedient slaves because they are bought. Ada shows the man the way to her house. The man tells Ada about his own family and that they are preparing to go back home in 4 months. He says further that he does quarrel with his wife but will never beat her for any reason. As they enter their room, they meet an ugly scene. Vicky sits on the settee, waving his wet nappy in the air. Titi lies on the bed looking at Vicky, and Bobo is in his cot listening to the song being sung by Francis from a Dirty Jehovah's Witness album. Francis' face also appears unkempt, while Opala appears decent and immaculate. Ada thinks in his mind that nothing on earth can change Francis. When Opala delves into their issue, Francis denies ever beating Ada. He says Ada only went out and knew she would come back because of the children. Opala is not happy with the situation on the ground because he knows that the couple is not happy and there's nobody to share their problems with. This might lead to an emotional breakdown of the wife, hence the drain on Francis' purse when health problems set in. This is a surprise to Ada that the husband can be paying the doctor's bill. Even in Nigeria, she has always been paying. On the part of Francis, he is annoyed and feels ashamed and disappointed for the intrusion of Opara into the affairs of his family. He shows his anger toward Opara and shouts at him to go home and mind his own business. This is when the Igbo man in Opara is revealed as he is not annoyed. He persists in bringing so-called to the family. He doesn't want to leave the family until they promise to pay him a visit so as to learn how the family lives. Opara asks Ada whether she has any relation in London who can intervene for her. According to Ada, there is nobody except those that will laugh at her because they want her not to marry Francis. After Opara takes the coffee prepared by Ada, he advises Francis to be a man and get a job to take care of his family for him to command respect from the family, including the children. He reminds Francis that the children born in London are intelligent right from the womb. They know what goes on around them. He gears him up not to lose his manhood. Ada is 5 months pregnant before she tells Francis about it. When Francis hears this, he laughs like a mad monkey. Ada is worried about the perfection of the baby and having to be operated on during the delivery. She thinks she may not survive another operation. The Indian doctor, who is now friends with her, tells her that the chance of her not being operated upon is 50-50. This time around, Ada is not ready to repeat what she experienced during the birth of Bubu. She's going to buy new baby material for the new baby. Her maternity grant is not going to Francis this time, so she can buy new things for the baby and herself. Ada meets a West Indian girl named Irene who enlightens her that she can live on what is called the assistance. When the children grow up, she can then get a job. Ada arranges with Irene to post 3 cards to her a day after the baby is born. Bunches of flowers are also to be sent in Francis' name. She also thinks otherwise that if she doesn't survive the birth, her children's name should be put on the flowers and made into wreaths. This moves Irene into crying, and Ada responds that we all have to die one day. So Ada is planning this so that she will not experience what she experienced when she gave birth to Bobo the other time in the hospital, where nobody cares for her. So she plans with Irene to send flowers and cards to her in the name of Francis. Ada attends all the classes in the clinic and is determined to observe the 4 weeks rest before going for delivery. The available money is not enough to feed the whole house again. Ada then tells Francis to go out and work because she's not ready to feed him again. Francis tells Ada to put it into writing. Without hesitation, she writes it down that she's no longer feeding her husband again. The people at Chalk Farm Library are not happy as Ada leaves them. She's so friendly with them that they also like her beauty. They also like her because she's always lively, no matter the situation. Ada tries to avoid Francis by not registering him in her mind, though she sees him. Francis threatens that he has reported Ada to the ministry and that she's not feeding him again, but nobody comes for her. Francis follows Ada to the hospital in the ambulance. On the second morning, her table is full of cards before she gives birth to a beautiful baby girl named Dada in the evening of that day. She names the child Sunshine because of her beauty. When Ada is discharged from the hospital, she shows her generosity to the nurses and they are all happy with her and appreciate her. She also sends an appreciation letter to them when she gets home. Ada doesn't want to repeat the mistakes she made during the time she had Bobo, that she did not show appreciation and later regretted it. Francis refuses to pick up Ada and the baby in the hospital. She goes home in a taxi by herself and she does not reveal this to the people so that they will not pity her. Francis now works as a clerical officer in the post office as a result of hunger. Ada is happy that the family's problem is solved, but the hope is dashed when Francis only pays the rent and gives Ada only £2. She does not know the amount Francis is earning. Ada also wishes to go to the civil service and pays him back in the same coin, but only takes care of her children. Francis buys himself a new suit and shirt and a small transistor radio that Ada and the children are not to touch. He carries it about anywhere he goes and pays for her children's food and herself. The only thing that connects her with Francis is sex in the night and washing his clothes. Ada determines not to bottle feed the baby, but to breastfeed her. This makes baby grow stronger. She also read that such babies grow to be stronger and more intelligent. Breastfeeding is also a kind of family planning as there is less likelihood of the mother becoming pregnant here. The author is trying to educate us here on the importance of breastfeeding. Let's continue. Ada feels that she needs to take her time because she is becoming incapable of providing for the children's needs, like buying new clothes for them. She creates for herself 3 hours in the afternoon to engage herself in writing. She visits foils to buy Teach Yourself to Write. She then writes the book to be titled The Bride Price, Why Nursing Dada. That's the end of chapter 12. Let's meet in the last chapter, that is chapter 13. And if you are just joining this channel, try and subscribe to this channel. Just click on the subscription button. You see subscribe, just click on it so that any video I release, you'll be notified. Thank you.